Chapter 1351, Chaotic Battle. Chapter 1351, Chaotic Battle. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Kill. Charge. Block them, we need more time. Don't be afraid, so what if this is Yi Hui, the Gu formation is around, we can last until reinforcements arrive from our clans. Shadow Sect attacked, while Southern Border's Righteous Path defended desperately. The third layer of the Gu formation was already half destroyed, cracks could be seen everywhere, it was of little help to the Righteous Path Gu immortals, a chaotic battle ensued. Rumble. Unceasing explosions, the collisions of wind, fire, water, and lightning, unfolded like fireworks in the sky. There was no probing, Immortal Gu and Immortal Killer moves were used from the start, the battle became heated almost instantly. You cannot defend this place. Fairy Miao Yin smiled as she flew in the air. Xiao Si Lu was in front of her. Xiao Si Lu was silent, the situation had changed too quickly, earlier, the Righteous Path had the advantage, but now they were at a disadvantage. Even with the Super Gu formation, they could only defend passively, they lost their initiative. For the Righteous Path Gu immortals, their only chance was to wait for reinforcements. Who are you people? You can actually mobilize the legendary immemorial desolate beasts Yi Hui. Xiao Si Lu asked, paying close attention. Fairy Miao Yin laughed, the ones to end your life. Her killing intent rose, a crescent moon shadow appeared in her eyes. Immortal Killer move, Curved Moon. This was a sight-based attack, because the aura was completely concealed, once it was used, one would not be able to react in time, it was very difficult to guard against. Xiao Si Lu was hit immediately. But soon, on the surface of her dress and skin, jade green light shone. Within the faint light, long willow branches formed, it was like ribbons made of branches coiling around her, she resembled a fairy from heaven. Swish swish swish. The jade willow branches were not just defensive, they quickly flew towards Fairy Miao Yin with impressive mobility. Fairy Miao Yin was stunned, she quickly retreated. She avoided the willow branches but could not defend against the shadow below them. One of the shadows shot up like a venomous snake, slapping Fairy Miao Yin's body. This is an attached move. Fairy Miao Yin could not conceal the shock on her beautiful face. Attached moves were like consecutive moves, split moves, and variation moves, they were special techniques in activating killer moves, they were hard to master for normal people. What was an attached move? Normally speaking, it meant two different immortal killer moves, one primary and one secondary. Like the willow branch attack that Xiao Si Lu used, it was the primary move. The shadows below the branches were the secondary move, attached to the primary move. When the primary move was used, the secondary move would have a certain chance of getting activated as well, unleashing its effects. Fairy Miao Yin did not expect that Xiao Si Lu would actually master such a difficult technique like attached move, she was caught off guard and was hit by the willow branch's shadow. A long wound appeared as blood started to flow out. On Fairy Miao Yin's beautiful face, it was really apparent. Xiao Si Lu tittered, oh no, I lost my concentration and disfigured you. If we fight anymore, you'll no longer be on par with me in beauty. Fairy Miao Yin snorted. Xiao Si Lu took the initiative and attacked, there were countless jade willow branches around her, these rootless willows were formed from the killer move, they were agile and resembled dozens of long whips, lashing at Fairy Miao Yin. The attacks became more frequent, it was like a jade storm. Fairy Miao Yin was shrouded in whips, not only did she need to defend against the whips, she also had to guard against their shadows. After all, a whip might come out at any time and attack Fairy Miao Yin. Splat splat splat. Lashing sounds were endless, even though Fairy Miao Yin was putting up her defense, her clothes were still torn by the whips. Fairy Miao Yin retreated as she used her hands to shield herself from the willow branches. A moment later, her clothes were torn and her snow-white body was exposed, it was beautiful and alluring, men would have a nosebleed upon seeing her. Xiao Si Lu pursued her along the way. But good times did not last. Her opponent suddenly cried out as a pair of slender hands appeared on her back. Fairy Miao Yin had 4 arms now. Her 4 arms defended herself as Fairy Miao Yin restored her steady position. It was easy for her to block those willows now. Xiao Si Lu sighed to herself. This was a mortal killer move, wondrous hand profound sound, Fairy Miao Yin's signature killer move. Xiao Si Lu knew of it. She had attacked rapidly earlier to catch Fairy Miao Yin off guard, to maintain her pressure and prevent her from regaining her composure. However, Xiao Si Lu's tactic failed. Fairy Miao Yin managed to use this move in the end. Even though Fairy Miao Yin was facing huge pressure, she was not a newbie like Zhao Lianyun. Fairy Miao Yin did not make an error, she withstood the pressure and used her killer move successfully. With her success, the situation changed. Xiao Si Lu slowly flew backwards, stopping her attacks and starting a battle of attrition using the damaged Gu formation as she retreated. She had left the Super Gu formation when pursuing Fairy Miao Yin. It was wise to return. It is my turn now, Sister Si Lu, you have to endure it. Fairy Miao Yin smiled, but her gaze was very dark. 4 hands started to move rapidly. Her smooth, long fingers were moving in a dazzling motion. Ding ding, dang dang. Cling cling, clang clang. With the movement of her fingers, sharp sounds could be heard whenever they touched. The sounds even caused sound waves to start appearing in the surrounding air. The sound waves were moving rapidly, with Fairy Miao Yin at the center. It quickly spread to the radius of a few hundred steps. The damaged 3rd layer of the Gu formation was breaking apart many times as quickly with the effect of the sound. The sound waves appeared quickly and vanished just as quickly. Xiao Si Lu had a solemn expression. She quickly defended herself, as willow branches surrounded her entire body. The two were in a deadlock. And at another hole. Shang Clan Gu immortal Shang Guili crossed his arms as he stood in front of the hole, looking at He Lulan. He had arrogance and disdain on his face. Just a rank 6 Gu immortal, you dare to attack us, you are truly courting death. I will kill you first before reinforcing my allies. Saying this, he vanished on the spot. At the next moment, he appeared behind He Lulan. Next, he stretched out his right hand as it turned into a white bone claw, scratching at He Lulan's back. Plop. A soft sound echoed. The white bone claw ripped apart He Lulan's defensive method, stabbing into her back as blood splattered upon impact. He Lulan shouted in anger, turning around to retaliate. Shang Guili vanished on the spot again, appearing in the damaged formation once more. He Lulan missed her attack. She growled in anger, her expression was twisted. There were 5 deep wounds on her back. Shang Guili mocked in disdain, you're nothing much, I will take your life in the next hit. But suddenly, his expression changed. On his white bone claw, He Lulan's flesh and blood were burning in flames. The fire was extremely special, it grew as it burned. In the blink of an eye, it covered Shang Guili's entire right hand. You fell for it so easily. He Lulan laughed. Immortal killer move, flesh blood fire. Dragon Man. A middle-aged Gu immortal with huge nostrils, Chai Huaxiong, was bare on his upper body. He had a wide back and waist, his body's muscles were glowing red, like he was on fire. Every time he breathed, smoke came out of his nostrils. He was brutish and domineering. He stood on the spot and blocked the hole in the Gu formation behind him. At least you are knowledgeable. Bai Ningbing had a plain expression. She stretched out her right arm, her jade fingers were covered in frost energy, as snowflakes descended from the sky. Boom! A loud sound occurred around Chai Huaxiong. The ground caved in as he shot out like a cannonball, charging towards Bai Ningbing. Take this! Chai Huaxiong shouted in the air. Large amounts of flames flew out of his nose and nose, even his pores were flaming. In an instant, raging flames filled Bai Ningbing's vision. Bai Ningbing had a cold gaze. She did not dodge, she watched as Chai Huaxiong got closer. Her lips curled up, she called out in excitement, "Come at me." Before she finished her words, she charged forward. Her body was tiny compared to Chai Huaxiong. This was like the collision of a fly towards a flame. Boom! An intense explosion. Both sides attacked and were locked in the middle, dividing this battlefield into two. Half was flame and half was frost, they were repelling each other. Flames flickered with the power to burn all lifeforms, while the frost solidified the earth into an icy domain, freezing all lifeforms. Flames could not melt the frost, and the frost could not freeze the flames. There was no clear victor. When the flames and frost vanished, two figures appeared on each end. Bai Ningbing stood on the spot, excitement and concentration was evident in her dragon eyes. On the other end, the domineering Chai clan Gu immortal took several steps back, looking at Bai Ningbing in disbelief. "Impossible, you are only a rank 6 Gu immortal." Bai Ningbing smiled and her icy white teeth were exposed. "I praised you for being knowledgeable earlier, it seems that I need to take that back." The moment she said "need to," Bai Ningbing charged ahead again. When she finished her words, she was right in front of Chai Huaxiong. She jumped into the sky and her right arm was raised up. She was like a deity of snow descending to the world, bringing with her an endless blizzard. Her divine might was unstoppable. Next, Bai Ningbing's right arm slashed down at Chai Huaxiong like a giant sharp blade. "White rabbit, you slut, die." Wu Liao had bloodshot eyes, filled with rage and hatred. Even though he was not on good terms with Wuan as they disliked each other, they were still Wu clan Gu immortals. Now that White Rabbit killed Wuan, Wu Liao attacked with hatred, wanting to avenge Wuan. But it was a pity. Lady White Rabbit, who had transformed, or rather, Black Tigress, had rank 7 cultivation level. Her battle strength had surged dramatically. Wu Liao was just a rank 6 Gu immortal. He could do nothing to Lady White Rabbit. Instead, his own life was in danger. "Step down, Wu Liao, you are not her match." Fang Yuan blocked Wu Liao, who was going to fight. He had cold killing intent as he stood in front of Lady White Rabbit. "If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1352, Fang Yuan vs Black Tigress. Chapter 1352, Fang Yuan vs Black Tigress. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. He. Black Tigress had a strange laugh. Her beautiful appearance looked very twisted. Her clear innocent eyes were filled with sinister light. There were deep bags under her eyes, like she had not slept for a long time. Her eyeshadow was thick, like the wings of a black butterfly, extending from her eyes to her brows. Even though her appearance did not change much, she had turned sinister and vicious. Her demeanor had changed completely. The innocent and weak form was worlds apart from this. White Rabbit true inheritance, interesting. Fang Yuan's body shined in bright light. When the light faded, Fang Yuan had turned into a huge tortoise. Immortal killer move, divination tortoise transformation. GUH. The rank 7 formation path Gu immortal Chi Gui coughed out a mouthful of blood. Damn it. He cursed continuously, looking ahead at the fragmented corpse of the immortal Gu floating in front of him. This immortal Gu was originally damaged by Zui Yi Hui's attack. Earlier, when Chi Gui wanted to activate the second layer of the Super Gu formation, this immortal Gu reached its limit and broke. The Gu formation activation failed. There would be a chain reaction and cause other immortal Gu to be damaged. Chi Gui had to use his own body to endure the backlash of the collapsing Gu formation, in order to keep it from being destroyed. But he got injured in the process. Is the injury severe? Bada quickly came to check. Chi Gui swallowed the blood in his mouth. He had a pale expression like that of a dead person, very severe. This destroyed immortal Gu is one of the main pillars. The second layer of the Gu formation has 300,000 Gu worms, but there are only 4 immortal Gu of such importance. We need to find a replacement and activate the second layer of the Gu formation. This Gu formation has many linked layers. Without the second layer, the first layer will not be able to activate. After pausing for a while, Qi Gui shouted with a frantic expression, "Anyone who has Earth Path Immortal Gu, I need one pass to me. Now is the moment of life and death." Beside him, Ba Quan Fong and Ba De looked at each other helplessly. The former was a Wind Path Gu Immortal, while the latter was Wood Path. They did not have Earth Path Immortal Gu. Qi Gui had to heal his injuries. Ba Quan Fong and Ba De went to ask around. The reason why they had to ask one by one was because he needed to try and conceal this disastrous information. After all, mental state affected battle strength. The fewer people who knew, the better. Thankfully, among the 5 regions, Southern Border had the most Earth Path Gu Immortals. Soon, some people spoke up. They were willing to contribute their Earth Path Immortal Gu. Qi Gui had to choose. It was not easy to choose the Earth Path Immortal Gu, but he had to try and find the one closest to the one that was destroyed. Qi Gui's injuries had not healed, but he could not care. Next, I need to deduce this and try to add that Earth Path Immortal Gu into this Gu formation. My safety will be in your hands. This act was very risky. He was placing his life in the hands of others. But Qi Gui had a determined expression. He did not hesitate. He knew that there was no other way now. Time was pressing. He needed to gamble. Ba De had a solemn expression, nodding. "I promise that I will defend your life. Even if Sui Yi Hui comes, he will have to step over my corpse first." He was sincere. These were not lies. In this situation, even if Ba De had high battle strength, he could not resist Sui Yi Hui. The battle could not be turned around. He was not Feng Jiugu or Fang Yuan, who had reverse flow protection seal. Ba De did not know that Wu Clan's Immortal Gu House was on the way. But the moment Shadow Sect attacked, he had immediately used his information path methods to inform Ba Clan. There were other Gu Immortals who did the same thing. Defending with all they had, that was the only way for everyone to survive. Like this, Qi Gui's attention and concentration was focused on the Gu formation. And Ba De, who had the highest battle strength, was leading the group in defending the place. With Wu Clan and Xiao Clan in trouble, their reputation had fallen greatly. Ba Clan's Ba De became the most suitable leader. Ba De did not let go of this chance. As the most important person to protect Qi Gui, he stayed at the back and observed the battlefield. All in all, the Righteous Path's defense was quite stable. The Righteous Path Gu Immortal elites were using the damaged Gu formation. They could retreat in time. Meanwhile, even though the Demonic Path Gu Immortals arrived imposingly, they lacked strong experts. It was not that Southern Border had no Demonic Path or Lone Immortal experts, but most of them had died in Tian Mountain. Even though the Righteous Path also suffered great losses in that battle, compared to the Demonic Path, the Righteous Path was more stable. It was easier to produce Gu Immortal experts with abundant resources. One could imagine, unless something happened, at this rate, for the following period of time, Southern Border's Righteous Path would greatly suppress the Demonic Path and Lone Cultivators. Ba De's gaze swept past Fairy Miao Yin, He Lu Lan, and by Ning Bing's battlefield, eventually looking at Fang Yuan. Wu Yi Hai. He muttered this name, feeling some emotions. In the past, he wanted to suppress Wu Yi Hai and teach Wu Clan a lesson. But now, they had to work together. Ba De had a lot of ambition. He wanted to replace Wu Clan and make Ba Clan flourish. But now, with this strong enemy, he was willing to work with Wu Yi Hai. He had an open mind. Of course, this was temporary. Once the crisis ended, Ba De would deal with them again. With this event, Ba De had a huge hold on Fang Yuan. Before the mishap occurred in Wu Clan and Xiao Clan, Ba De had been holding himself back. He did not use the immortal opportunity business to find trouble with him. He had endured until now. There were finally results to be shown. Black Tigress jumped around. She was very agile, evading many Vitra thoughts. After her personality changed, this former Lady White Rabbit started to use dark path methods. Not just that, her rank 6 cultivation level turned to rank 7, it was simply unreasonable. But no matter how fast she moved, she was merely a bit faster than Fang Yuan's thoughts. Times were different now. If this was Fang Yuan had just obtained Vajra thought Immortal Gu, he might not have been able to handle Black Tigress. But now, Fang Yuan was very familiar with this move, thoughts scattered like rain, assaulting her and cooperating with each other, forming a huge web of attacks. Even though Black Tigress dodged them, she was still going to be overwhelmed by the countless thoughts. Immortal Killer Move, Cornered Tiger. Realizing that she was in a disadvantage, Black Tigress' aura burst out as her toes landed lightly on the ground. Black liquid started to spread on the ground. A breath of time later, the water expanded to the size of a pond. 2 breaths of time later, the black water started to bubble. 3 breaths of time later, a lizard. 1. With the size of a horse emerged from the black water. This lizard was black in color and had shiny eyes. It was not real, it was made from the Dark Path Killer move. The lizard moved rapidly, spreading its limbs and moving like the wind, bringing Black Tigress to its back as she charged away. Compared to Black Tigress, Fang Yuan, who had turned into a divination tortoise, looked very slow. After he transformed, he stopped moving, he blocked the whole of the Gu formation. Even though Fang Yuan did not move, the Vajra thoughts he created were like tiny tortoise shells. They moved agilely and circulated around the divination tortoise's body with an incredible number. Since the battle started, Fang Yuan had been using Vajra shell. The tortoise shell thoughts flew rapidly. Fang Yuan had a composed plan. He first used these thoughts to defend himself before sending the new ones outside. Black Tigress stood on top of the black lizard. She could move with ease, but she gritted her teeth. On the surface, her speed was an advantage, she had the initiative, but the truth was, she needed to get past Fang Yuan's obstruction to attack the damaged formation. But Fang Yuan was blocking her way. Black Tigress tried to move every which way, trying to get past Fang Yuan. She moved around these tortoise shell thoughts and exposed vulnerability on purpose, but Fang Yuan did not fall for it. He defended himself firmly and continued to push Black Tigress out. Fang Yuan was a bit wary of Black Tigress' trump card. Even though Fang Yuan did not know its name, he saw how Wuan had turned into a puddle of black water after he got hit by it unknowingly. Black Tigress prepared that move for me. She wanted to meet me but I rejected her, thus she used it on Wuan. This means that the move has a small range, it is quite limited. Like Dark Assassination, even though the aura is concealed and it has great power, the flaw is evident. Fang Yuan created more and more thoughts. The tortoise shell thoughts were moving around without any gaps. It was terrifying. Black Tigress had to retreat, seeing so many tortoise shells. She was so angry her chest was moving up and down. This tortoise transformation really suits you, Lord Wu Yi Hai. She grinned, showing a cruel smile filled with killing intent. However, don't think my methods are just these. Take this. Saying so, Black Tigress opened her mouth and aimed at Fang Yuan, sticking out her tiny tongue. Her tongue was cute and pinkish, but her lips were black like ink. It was a clear contrast of black lips and pink tongue. Her tongue moved rapidly. It was like a cute neighbor's daughter making a funny face. But Fang Yuan felt a chill down his spine. He suffered a heavy injury. He quickly turned around and looked. He saw a tiny hole on his shell. This hole was only the size of a basin. It was nothing compared to the giant tortoise's size. But it was very deep. The wound was spreading outwards. Black smoke could be seen rising from the hole, making a cracking sound. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1353, Tiger Lick. Chapter 1353, Tiger Lick. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Fang Yuan's heart shook. What killer move is this? The divination tortoise's shell is the hardest thing on its body, yet it could not endure this attack. Even though my sovereign immortal body has the trait of non-conflicting Tao marks, my tough ancient desolate beast body still suffered such injuries. Black Tigress' battle strength was out of Fang Yuan's expectations. Her method was peculiar and could bypass even the divination tortoise's defense. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan did not dare to hold back. He quickly used rank 7 Immortal Gu precaution. This rule path Immortal Gu had already been added into Vajra Shell by Fang Yuan. Immediately, the original Vajra Shell killer move stopped working, a brand new Vajra Shell killer move was activated. Whoosh! Wind was created out of nowhere, the divination tortoise's aura changed. The brand new Vajra Shell killer move used a large number of time path Mortal Gu. Their effect was to eliminate the weakness of precaution Immortal Gu needing 10 breaths of time. Thus, once Vajra Shell was activated, precaution Immortal Gu's effect became active at once. The small tortoise shell thoughts expanded and became firmer. At the same time, the divination tortoise's main body started to shine in a metallic light. It also became darker. Black Tigress saw this and her expression changed. She licked again. The two were far away, but Fang Yuan still suffered injuries despite the distance. There was another hole on the tortoise shell, but this time, it was only the size of an adult's fist. The injury was light and there was no black smoke. The wound earlier had already stopped producing black smoke. The injury was expanding very slowly. Black Tigress snorted coldly, feeling unresigned. She muttered, "In that case, I will attack there." At the next moment, Fang Yuan felt his tortoise head go numb. Immediately, pain assaulted him. There was also a numb feeling as well. The injuries were not light. Fang Yuan quickly placed his head into the shell. Damn it! Black Tigress saw this and her eyes spewed fire from rage. Fang Yuan was very shameless. Not just his head, his limbs and tail also went into the shell. Only the tortoise shell thoughts were still spinning and increasing in numbers, raising his defensive power and range once more. Black Tigress licked the tortoise shell continuously, but there was little use. She was in a predicament. There was nothing she could do to Fang Yuan. Wu Liao healed his injuries as he watched the battle. Seeing this, he broke out in sweat. He thought, at this rate, when will Lord Wu Yi be able to take revenge for Wuan? How many years would it take? Bada snorted in unhappiness. The other holes had intense battles, but Fang Yuan was calm and composed. There was little commotion. Fang Yuan easily hid inside his shell. He was thinking rapidly about Black Tigress' killer move. Killer moves could be directed to targets in certain ways. For example, a fireball killer move may need to form in the hands first, before being shot out towards the target, to have any form of impact. But where it flew, in what direction and towards what target, that would depend on the direction that the killer move was designed to move. Wherever the move was directed towards, the fireball would fly there. If the targeting was not impressive, the fireball would move straight. After leaving the hands, its direction could not be changed anymore. If the targeting ability was stronger, the fireball would be able to move in a curved manner. After leaving the hands, its direction could be tweaked slightly. And even stronger ones would have automatic homing abilities. Black Tigress killer move must also have a targeting ability. It is formless after activation. It is not as obvious as a fireball. But it definitely has a targeting ability. Because it is not a wide-ranged attack, the damage is concentrated. Then how does it do that? By sight. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan activated his Gu worms, creating a thick fog around the divination tortoise, surrounding it. What is this Wu Yi trying to do? Humph. Black Tigress was suspicious that Fang Yuan was using a new killer move. She quickly stretched out her tongue and licked towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was hit again. Not sight. Is it smell? Fang Yuan used his method again. The fog became extremely smelly. Wu Liao, who was close by to him, had a twisted expression as he quickly used his Gu worms to breathe internally. The smell spread in the air. Soon, other battlefields were looking over. Wu Yi is actually trying to break the other party's killer move. Bada's eyes shined. He could see Fang Yuan's motive. He snorted as the displeasure in his heart grew. There was usually little hope of breaking an enemy's killer move on the spot. experimentation was needed, and even if the reasoning was understood, there might not be the necessary immortal Gu or method to counter it. Trying to break a killer move, it would result in a drawn-out battle. This is an emergency, but he still has the time to break the killer move. If he has time, he should try to kill the enemy. Ba Quan Fong expressed the unhappiness in his heart. Ba De did not say anything. Now was not the time for internal conflict. Black Tigress hesitated for a moment, she stretched out her tongue and licked again. Another hole appeared on Fong Yuan's shell. Fong Yuan had a flash of inspiration. I get it, this is her sense of taste. Normally speaking, taste was experienced through the tongue, and Gu Immortals' tongues were able to taste things from afar through immortal Gu or killer moves. It was not hard. Every time she activates it, Black Tigress needs to stretch out her tongue. She and Shadow Sect are aligned, while Shadow Sect has food path true inheritances. Only such a non-standard path can deal such damage to my defensive divination tortoise transformation. Let me test it. The divination tortoise turned red, especially the shell, it was red as molten iron. Black Tigress licked and immediately cringed, arg, so hot. The divination tortoise's redness faded, there was a strange smell in the sky. Black Tigress stretched out her tongue and licked, she almost puked from disgust, she frowned, so salty. The divination tortoise transformation changed again. Black Tigress stopped trying, she understood Fong Yuan's intention, this guy. He is actually trying to counter my killer move, he is not trying to use any immortal killer moves. Damn it. Black Tigress thought earlier that the divination tortoise's changes were the start of Fong Yuan's new immortal killer move. Thus, she interfered with him time and time again. Once she succeeded, Fong Yuan would suffer an intense backlash. She would have hope of passing this huge tortoise shell obstacle. Under such a situation, he still has time to try to deduce and counter my killer move. Fong Yuan's movements were not logical, the battle was so intense now, nobody had any time for this. But precisely so, Black Tigress fell for it. After realizing this, Black Tigress stopped using this move, she started to use other long-range methods. She punched with both fists as dark green fist chi moved around the troublesome tortoise shell thoughts, some were wiped out but some managed to land on the divination tortoise shell. Even though the damage was little, each time the punches landed, Fong Yuan's body shook uncontrollably. Evidently, this immortal killer move had rule path Gu worms. Black Tigress was trying to prevent Fong Yuan from using an immortal killer move, it was a good strategy. It was taste, huh? Fong Yuan's head was still inside his shell. Even though he had a result, it was still far from truly breaking Black Tigress' move. Fong Yuan, however, was not in a rush. Black Tigress could not use this move anymore, her punches were of little harm to Fong Yuan. The original Wu Yi Hai had other methods, but they were all defensive in nature. Black Tigress was really overthinking it when she guarded against Fong Yuan's attacking moves, even though he had them, with this identity, he could not use them. If he tried, he would incur huge suspicions, his identity was likely to be exposed. Thus, this battle slowed down tremendously. Fong Yuan did not want to attack, or rather, he had no attacking moves, while Black Tigress could not go past this shell. After a long time, there were already 100,000 tortoise shells around Fong Yuan. Black Tigress felt like she was helpless, the vast number of tortoise shells made this an incredibly eye-catching sight in the battlefield. Bada's expression became even colder, he could not help but transmit, Wu Yi Hai, I heard you have 2 more transformations. Why are you still holding back? Quickly kill her and reinforce the others. Unless, you really have some relationship with this white rabbit. You can't bear to kill her. Fong Yuan heard Bada's transmissions but ignored him, pretending not to hear anything. Bada did not get a reply, he gritted his teeth in anger, his gaze towards Fong Yuan turned colder. Fong Yuan was thinking about his situation. Shadow Sect is definitely attacking to save Spectral Soul's main body. They control Zui Yi Hui, but the extent is limited, and the rank 8 Gu Immortal Purple Mountain True Monarch has not shown up yet. The righteous path has the super Gu formation, we can hold on for a while. As long as we stall for time, reinforcements will come from all over. And I have reverse flow protection seal, I can resist rank 8 existences, they will not be able to defeat me. Purple Mountain True Monarch is a wisdom path Gu immortal, how can he not have a trump card? And these righteous path Gu immortals are far from being desperate now. I should conceal my identity and wait for a chance to take action. Maybe this time, I might have some great gains. Fang Yuan thought about it and realized this was a great opportunity. He had sufficient strength, but he needed to wait for the right timing. Shadow Sect was a huge threat to him, he wanted to exterminate them all. But Fang Yuan had not succeeded in any of his attempts so far. It was not that he did not try, or that he was not determined enough, but Shadow Sect's group was made of elites and geniuses. But now was a grand opportunity. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1354, The Might of He and Bai. Chapter 1354, The Might of He and Bai. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Fang Yuan had thought that his pursuit would have no chance, but to think that Shadow Sect personally presented Fang Yuan this great opportunity. Because of Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu, Shadow Sect would not let Fang Yuan off. If Fang Yuan did not get rid of them and allowed Shadow Sect to grow further, he would end up like Ma Hongyun in the end. After he got rid of Shadow Sect, who would know about Fang Yuan's identity? Eliminating this biggest threat was Fang Yuan's best option, he could even get rid of the weakness of Connect Luck. After that, he would slowly develop and cultivate using the Dream Realm, because of the Sovereign Immortal Aperture, Fang Yuan had the greatest foundation in the world. 500 years later, Fang Yuan would have incredible strength, be it his cultivation level, battle strength, or wealth, it would be unimaginable. Fang Yuan does not know that the Great Era is already impending. During the 5 regions' chaotic war, he could either take advantage of the situation for opportunities or fight with brute strength, Heavenly Court might not even be able to do anything to him. If the situation developed well, by the time he reached rank 9, he would be one step closer to his goal of eternal life. This was Fang Yuan's cultivation plan, it was very realistic. Now was the best chance to get rid of Shadow Sect, how could Fang Yuan give it up? And Shadow Sect had no idea Fang Yuan was here. Fang Yuan was the one concealed. Who knew that Wu Yi-hai was him? Nobody in the righteous path knew, even his brother Wu Yong had no idea. Undoubtedly, eliminating Wu Yi-hai and impersonating him to join Wu clan was a brilliant move. Even though there was a risk, if he did not do that, how would Fang Yuan get this prime opportunity? Fang Yuan had to make use of it. I might even be able to capture Spectral Soul's main body. With Spectral Soul's main body, I would be able to interrogate the soul and obtain all of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's cultivation memories and experiences. All of his soul path experiences, his perspective and gains in the door of life and death, countless Gu recipes, killer moves, and secrets. Fang Yuan's greatest desire was lead soul into dream. With this killer move, as well as Unravel Dream and Guts Gu, Fang Yuan would be the #1 person in this world in terms of dream realm exploration, he would have an immense advantage, the entire world would be left in the dust, even Heavenly Court. Ding ding ding. Sound waves could be seen as ripples all around Xiao Lu. Fairy Miao Yin's arms had grown to 6 in number, her fingers were moving elegantly, her attacks were much more intense than before. Xiao Lu, however, was able to defend herself well. Her pupils had turned jade, her black hair had turned into willow branches that extended to her waist. The 2 southern border fairies were still in a deadlock. Damn it, I can't block it. I need to escape. A demonic path Gu immortal retreated as resolution flashed in his eyes. Boom! An intensely strong aura burst out from behind him. Cowardly rat, die! A righteous path Gu immortal shouted, stretching out his hand and grabbing the demonic path Gu immortal's head. Next, lightning flashed and thunder roared, deep blue lightning bolts shrouded this battlefield. The lightning flashes lasted for a moment before stopping. The opponent that the righteous Path Gu immortal was holding onto had turned into a charred skeleton, with a barely observable human shape. Humph, rat that doesn't know his limits, he dared to act arrogantly in front of me, Hei Ting. The righteous Path Gu immortal relaxed the grip of his hand as the demonic Path Gu immortal's corpse fell to the ground, shattering into tiny black pieces. Everyone, your attacks are only like this. A righteous Path Gu immortal with a slender body and tall nose bridge spoke with arrogance and disappointment. Don't be smug. Tai Clan's Tai Xianxia, we have been suppressing you all along, you have the face to say, ugh. The three Gu immortals who were attacking Tai Xianxia ridiculed him, but their expressions suddenly changed. A strong and sharp aura burst into the sky, emitted from Tai Xianxia's body. The three Gu immortals quickly moved back, feeling on guard. Wind was blowing all around him, causing his clothes to flutter, but Tai Xianxia had calm emotions. He shut his eyes as he said slowly, "It is useless, I have already seen all your moves, all of your weaknesses are right before me with no secrets left. F***ck your mother." A Gu immortal cursed, but before he finished, his body shook intensely. Puff puff puff. 3 sounds later, 3 waves of sword chi flashed, so quickly that it felt like an illusion. Heads flew, the 3 Gu immortals who were attacking Tai Xianxia were beheaded, losing all their vitality. Ha ha ha. Hei Lu Lan laughed loudly, she had severe injuries. Shang Guili had rank 7 cultivation level, but he looked at Hei Lu Lan with shock and wariness. He was no longer as relaxed as before. As expected of a Northern Plains Gu immortal, you are a battle maniac. Shang Buli was unwilling to give in, but his injuries were already close to his bottom line. Retreat. This thought appeared in his mind. Hei Lu Lan seemed to have noticed it as she mockingly smiled. Where do you want to escape to? What do you mean? Shang Guili immediately felt something amiss, a strong sense of danger filled his heart. Whoosh! Flames burst out of his mouth, before spewing out of his eye sockets, ears, nose, and other orifices. Blazing rampantly. Instantly, Shang Guili was turned into a pillar of fire. His anguished cries resounded in the battlefield before he died. Hei Lu Lan stared with a cold expression. So what if you are rank 7? Quick, quick, I need more reinforcements. Chai Huaxiong retreated as he screamed. Compared to his earlier demeanor, he had lost all his fighting spirit, fear and anxiety filled his eyes. Before him, Dragon Lady by Ning Bing walked slowly, approaching him step by step. She was extremely beautiful, it could move one's soul, but in Chai Huaxiong's perspective, she was extremely dangerous. He wanted nothing more than to escape the battlefield. But in this situation, at this time and place, if he tried to leave the battlefield, wouldn't he just become Zui Yi Hui's food? Chai Huaxiong could only fight reluctantly. Bai Ningbing's battle strength was even higher than Hei Lu Lan. Because she had Bai Xiang's true inheritance, and all of the ice and snow path immortal Gu were compatible with her northern dark ice soul physique. Meanwhile, even though Hei Lu Lan had the great strength true martial physique, she used fire path immortal Gu, and the fire path methods her aunt left behind, she did not have much Dao mark amplification. Chai Huaxiong had already requested for help once, but Bai Ningbing killed the backup already. Of course, Bai Ningbing paid a price for it. Bada was commanding the battle. Upon hearing Chai Huaxiong's yells, his attention was drawn over. Tai Xianxia, please go and help Chai Huaxiong. Bada thought before transmitting. Okay. Tai Xianxia immediately flew into the sky, towards Bai Ningbing. His aura was stunning, he immediately attracted Bai Ningbing's attention. Her dragon pupils shrunk to pin size as an immortal killer move was activated. My aid is here. Seeing Tai Xianxia's figure, Chai Huaxiong felt great joy. But at this moment, because he relaxed his mind slightly, Bai Ningbing noticed his weakness and her immortal killer move was unleashed. I want you to die. Xianxia, who was one moment late, burst out with rage. He could only watch helplessly as Chai Huaxiong turned into a popsicle, breaking apart into countless ice fragments. Bai Ningbing smiled, but her expression was plain. She looked at Xianxia, saying calmly, "My move is called Ice Shatter Death. Do you want to try it?" Chai Huaxiong has been sacrificed. Even though this dragon lady is rank 6, her battle strength is first-rate even among rank 7s. Bada's heart sank. He rapidly looked around the battlefield. The defensive line was still being maintained. The righteous path had the advantage, even though they were relying on the damaged third layer of the Gu formation. Even though there were sacrifices, Shadow Sect had even more deaths, their morale had fallen, some were wavering. The enemy only has 4 true experts. They are Lady White Rabbit, Demoness Miao Yin, the Dragon Lady, and that Fire Path rank 6, He Lu Lan. As long as we eliminate one of them, their morale will suffer a huge blow. Thinking of this, Bada's attention fell on Fang Yuan again. Fang Yuan had turned into a divination tortoise. He was still at the same spot with his limbs and head inside the shell. But there were already 300,000 tortoise shell thoughts. They swept through the battlefield. Black Tigress was pushed far away. Bada snorted again in anger, transmitting to Fang Yuan, "Wu Yi Hai. Stop defending. As a Wu Clan Gu immortal, do you have no courage to fight? Are you so afraid of dying? Let me tell you, you are an important person in this fight. You are the best hope to create an opening in this battle. As long as you kill Black Tigress and reinforce other areas, there will be a qualitative change. The balance will tilt towards our favor." Fang Yuan. The divination tortoise was like a mountain, not reacting to his words. "Damn it, this fellow is still acting like this now. I simply cannot believe it." Bada gritted his teeth, feeling stifled. "I'm done." At this moment, Qi Gui opened his eyes. He stood up from the ground with a joyful expression. "Success?" Ba Quanfeng asked excitedly. "Yes, I have already finished the deduction. Now, we have to arrange the Gu formation and activate the second layer. This Super Gu formation has greater defense as we get deeper into the layers. It is not a problem to block Grey Knight." Qi Gui nodded. "Good." Bada heard this and let out a sigh of relief. He looked at Sui Yi Hui, who was far away. This legendary immemorial desolate beast was still exhausted. It did not move from its original spot. It was still breathing in deeply. In Bada's heart, this legendary immemorial desolate beast was the greatest worry. Most of his pressure came from it. The situation is favoring our righteous path. Bada felt joy and gladness. But Fang Yuan was far less optimistic. Purple Mountain True Monarch has not shown up. What is he planning? Fang Yuan was getting more and more on edge. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1355, Crucial Trader. Chapter 1355, Crucial Trader. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. At Etion Mountain's location, around the Super Gu formation, while the demonic and righteous paths were fighting, another battle had come to an end. Clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building was undamaged. It was radiating with vitality, floating silently. The huge purple blood river formation was near the brink of collapse. The blood river was no more, only a lump of red blood was left floating around randomly in the dark purple space. In front of clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building, the 7 Illusions demon immortal was trapped in a ball of wind, unable to escape. He had no choice but to surrender. Victory was assured. "Let me see your true identity." Wu Yong was unharmed. Green light flashed across his eyes. Immediately, the rainbow-colored lights surrounding the 7 Illusions demon immortal vanished like clouds blown by wind, dispersing. His true identity was exposed. The 3 righteous path Gu immortals were all stunned. Xiao Zhikai stared with wide-opened eyes, gasping, "Yao Gung." It turned out that this 7 Illusions demon immortal was none other than a member of a super force, Yao Clan Gu immortal Yao Gung. He had originally fought with Wu Yi Ran over stunning Immortal's inheritance. During the 5th time, he had died together with Wu Yi Ran. His life tablet Gu and Yao clan had shattered, everyone thought he was dead. But to think that he was the 7 Illusions demon immortal. Good, very good. Yao clan is actually like this. Tai Mianshan said coldly. Yao Gung smiled bitterly, this is my personal action, it has nothing to do with Yao clan. Wu Yong saw that he was defending his clan to the end. He was not as demonic as they had expected. He asked, what made you think of the method to trap us? Yao Gung's smile became even more bitter. I already have said that I am a minor character. Or rather, I am just a pawn. I was manipulated and forced to do this. My clan has nothing to do with it. Wu Yong's expression sank slightly. Then, the one who manipulated you is that rank 8 Gu immortal from earlier? Tell me everything about him. Yao Gung laughed loudly, tears rolling down his face. If I say that I do not understand that person, or rather, I have spent just about as much time with him as you, will you believe me? Tai Mianshan interjected, is it because of the 7 Illusions' true inheritance? Yao Gung nodded with a bitter expression. Tai Mianshan sighed, to obtain the 7 Illusions' true inheritance, you need to accept an Information Path Alliance agreement. My clan analyzed and concluded that this is a trap. But what we do not understand is, there were many 7 Illusions' true inheritance inheritors who did not have to execute the contents of the alliance agreement. You are the first victim. Saying this, Wu Yong and Xiao Zhikai understood. They looked towards Yao Gung with a hint of pity. At this point, what is there to say? Winner takes all, whether you want to kill me or whatever else, it is up to you. Yao Gung sat on the ground, devoid of any fighting spirit. Where is that rank 8 Gu immortal? Wu Yong asked, he felt something amiss. Yao Gung said all that he knew. I know as much as you do. I thought he was hiding inside the formation. Only until you found the crucial formation core and captured me did I realize that he had left long ago. Wu Yong heard this and the bad feeling in his heart intensified. He quickly grunted, immobilizing Yao Gung and suppressing him in the bamboo building, before using this immortal Gu house to unleash a terrifying attack. Rumble. The Purple Blood River formation was completely destroyed, the clear sky could be seen again. The 3 Gu immortals were freed, but at this moment, before joy showed on their faces, their bodies shook. Oh no, so many days had passed. This Purple Blood River formation not only has Wisdom Path, Blood Path, Phantom Path, and Information Path effects, it even has Time Path methods. In this Gu formation, the 3 Gu immortals' sense of time was affected, they misjudged it. Even Wu Yong fell for it. He had always thought that the time he spent in the Purple Blood River formation was not long. But after breaking out of the Gu formation, he realized that so much time had passed. Oh no! It seems that the rank 8 Gu immortal was not trying to fight us to the death, he merely wanted to trap us. Don't tell me, his real motive is? Wu Yong's heart sank, he quickly contacted his clan. The Purple Blood River formation isolated them from the outside world, they could not even connect to Treasure Yellow Heaven, not to mention their clans. Immediately, the 3 immortals contracted their clans and soon, their expressions changed. Large amounts of information entered their minds, the 3 immortals were stunned, to think that so many things had happened these last days. Gu immortals from Wu clan, Yang clan, Xiao clan, Qi clan, Chai clan, Xia clan, Ba clan and others were engaged in a chaotic battle. Purple Mountain True Monarch's plan was to trap Wu Yong's group, creating a false image that he had died, so that southern borders politics would go into chaos. He had succeeded. Yang clan, Xiao clan, and Wu clan whipped up a storm for their own benefits. Right when they were engaged in a battle for profits, over at the Super Gu formation, large numbers of people assaulted it. After receiving a huge amount of distress letters, the clans fell into panic. What is happening? What guts did these demonic Path Gu immortals grow? How could they attack the Super Gu formation? Not just that, even a Northern Plains Gu immortal appeared. Even a legendary immemorial desolate beast like Sui Yi Hui was controlled. These righteous path clans felt that it was unthinkable. But among them, there were astute people. After realizing this fact, they quickly reacted. What happened recently could be put together as a huge shocking scheme. The mastermind's goal was the giant dream realm. Go, we will go straight to the Super Gu formation. Wu Yong was resolute. They were actually able to cause a storm in southern border. I want to see who the mastermind is. Tai Mianshan followed after. Wu Yong had an anxious expression. My brother is still there, I hope nothing bad happened to him. At this crucial moment, Wu Yong still did not forget to maintain his reputation. Xiao Zhikai quickly cooperated. Lord Wu Yong, you care so much for your brother, you are truly loving towards your family and have a big heart, truly a role model of the righteous path. Rank 8 Immortal Gu House. Clear jade dripping wind. Tiny bamboo building tore through the sky, flying towards Etian Mountain. Qi Clan First Supreme Elder was also doing the same thing. After receiving Qi Gui's distress letter, he immediately stopped contesting with Yang Clan. He brought a Qi Clan Immortal Gu House towards the Super Gu formation. Yang Clan was doing the same. Ho Clan, Yao Clan, and Shang Clan sent either Gu Immortal experts or brought their Immortal Gu houses along. These people did not know why Shadow Sect was attacking the Super Gu formation. Because from start to finish, they were unclear of what truly happened on Etian Mountain. They only knew some of the information that Heavenly Court purposely leaked. They knew that Heavenly Court had interfered and that the destruction of Zombie Alliance was related to the Battle of Etian Mountain. They did not know the reason for the giant Dream Realm's creation, or that Spectral Soul's main body was inside the Dream Realm. Heavenly Court hid this information because it was afraid that some southern border super forces would help Spectral Soul. Even though they did not know the reason, this did not stop the super forces from placing great emphasis on the Super Gu formation. Not only because the giant Dream Realm was there, but also because of Zui Yi Hui. This legendary immemorial desolate beast caused great losses and gave southern borders Gu Immortal World painful memories whenever it appeared. Thus, southern borders super forces sent their people, and even Immortal Gu houses, to deal with Zui Yi Hui. Currently, even though they were attacked by surprise, they have Qi Clan's Gu formation and Qi Clan's Gu Immortals there. They can defend themselves for the time being. While flying, Xiao Zhikai said. Tai Mianshan was silent. Wu Yong shook his head. To speak the truth, I am very worried. The other party has plotted this very deeply. Their pawns are extremely well selected. If Yao Geng was not exposed, who would have guessed that he was the 7 Illusions Demon Immortal? The other party could infiltrate a rank 7 member of a righteous path superforce. I am afraid. Saying this, Wu Yong stopped. Tai Mianshan realized as he spoke, afraid that they have an insider within the Super Gu formation. Boom! The sneak attack was so sudden, it caught everyone unprepared. Ba Quan Fong, what are you doing? Ba Da shouted, attacking with rage. Ba Quan Fong was sent flying with Ba Da's attack. He was on the verge of death. Ba Da quickly struck and suppressed him before going towards Qi Gui. Qi Gui was heavily injured, his face was purple gold in color, blood flowed out of his 7 orifices. Just earlier, his deduction succeeded. When he was at a crucial moment of activating the second layer of the Gu formation, Ba Quan Fong, who was behind him, attacked suddenly with a vicious blow. Qi Gui greatly trusted these 2 Gu immortals from Ba Clan, because earlier when he deduced the Gu formation, they were guarding him wholeheartedly. But to think that Ba Quan Fong attacked at this crucial moment. Ba Quan Fong was just a rank 6 Wind Path Gu immortal, while Qi Gui was a rank 7 Formation Path Gu immortal. He was stronger without doubt. But earlier, Qi Gui was completely focused on the Gu formation. He could not defend himself. He was hit by Ba Quan Fong when unguarded. Qi Gui not only suffered from Ba Quan Feng's attack, the Gu formation activation failed and he suffered a huge backlash. At the next moment, he was near death, unable to do anything anymore. Ba Quan Fong. Ba Da screamed, his eyes were red, he stared at Ba Quan Fong. If he did not witness this, he would never believe that Ba Quan Fong was a traitor of the enemy. Surrender, Lord Ba Da, just surrender, you do not know how the enemy truly is. Ba Quan Fong was in poor shape, his aura was weak and his expression was pale, he was close to dying. Bada, however, saved him from the brink of dying. "You will not die so easily, trust me, the clan will place judgment upon you, living will be scarier than dying, you will have a fate worse than death." Bada gritted his teeth, hearing his words, he truly hated this traitor to the max. Ba Quan Fong was very vicious. Undoubtedly, his choice of timing was impeccable. Right when they were about to succeed, he struck and destroyed the righteous path's hope. Not only did he hurt Qigui, he even destroyed the newly added Earth Path Immortal Gu. Without the second layer of the Super Gu formation, the righteous path was bound to lose. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1356, Fang Yuan salvages the situation. Chapter 1356, Fang Yuan salvages the situation. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Damn it. This tortoise won't stop hiding. Black Tigress gritted her teeth. Hundreds of thousands of tortoise shell thoughts surrounded the divination tortoise in countless layers. Black Tigress had no way of getting close. With the increasing number of tortoise shell thoughts, she was pushed farther away by Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan defended like an unmovable mountain, but he did not relax his mind. Because Purple Mountain True Monarch had not shown up yet. Fang Yuan used his investigative methods to observe the entire place. Fairy Miao Yin and Xiao Si Lu were two of the three current generation great fairies of southern border. They were fighting on par with each other, still stuck in a deadlock. He Lulan and Bai Ningbing also displayed battle strength that shocked Fang Yuan. Previously, when Fang Yuan was chasing them, they were still not familiar with their immortal killer moves, but now, they were extremely proficient, using them easily. This made Fang Yuan sigh once again. Shadow Sect's foundation was truly deep. Even in this terrible state, with Shadow Sect's help, He Lulan and Bai Ningbing still obtained such an increase in their battle strength. If Fang Yuan did not have such gains in Reverse Flow River, and used Dream Realms to raise his attainment levels after coming here, the speed of his growth would definitely not match these two immortals. However, even though He Lulan and Bai Ningbing were strong, there were no lack of experts in the righteous path. Tai Xianxia and Yi Hei Ting were first-rate experts among rank 7s, even though they were inferior to Wu Yubo, they were still able to deal with Bai Ningbing and He Lulan. The two pairs of Gu immortals engaged in intense battle, thunder roared as lightning flashed, a blizzard was blowing with countless shining figures. However, Sui Yi Hui has almost recovered. Fang Yuan looked at the battlefield, he did not forget about the strongest existence here. Wu Yi Hai, quickly return. At this moment, Bada's words were transmitted to Fang Yuan. What is it? Fang Yuan could hear something wrong from Bada's tone, he hesitated. I am defending the opening. Quickly come, we need you. Qi Gui's weak voice was also transmitted. Fang Yuan's heart sank, he quickly entered the hole and got to the inside. Seeing Ba Quan Fong and Qi Gui on the verge of death, Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk. An information path Gu flew over, Fang Yuan grabbed it, instantly understanding the situation. Ba Quan Fong was a spy from Shadow Sect. Shadow Sect truly is everywhere. Fang Yuan's heart jumped, his eyelids were twitching. The situation was horrible. The Earth Path Immortal Gu was destroyed too. Just earlier, the righteous path had fallen into a hopeless situation. When Bada had almost lost all his confidence, he heard Qi Gui say, we still have our final hope, even though I can't do anything, there is still Wu Yi Hai. His formation path attainment is something that our clan's Qi Shang had praised, his formation path attainment level is similar to me, at formation path quasi-grandmaster. Let him in, we still can give it a try. Bada knew that Fang Yuan and Qi Shang had a close relationship, but this was the first time he heard confirmation from Qi clan that Fang Yuan's formation path attainment level was actually so high. Normally, Bada would be wary and envious, but now, he was extremely glad about it. He quickly transmitted to Fang Yuan. Precisely so, he asked Fang Yuan to come back. The opening was filled by other righteous path Gu immortals. This information is known only to us. Wu Yi Hai, do you have any confidence? Bada had a nervous expression. At this crucial moment, he could not spread news of this. Once everyone became disheartened and lost their morale, the righteous path would definitely lose. Confidence my ass. Fang Yuan cursed. He stared at Ba Quan Feng, his eyes filled with anger. Zui Yi Hui would only rest for some time. Earlier, Qi Gui had already spent most of it deducing the Gu formation. Fang Yuan had less than 30% of the original duration left. To deduce a way to use a new immortal Gu for this Gu formation, in addition to countless supplementary mortal Gu, and arrange them together to form the second layer of the Gu formation, the difficulty was huge, extremely immense. Qi Gui knew about the difficulty, thus he said they could give it a try. The hope was indeed slim. Even if you are not sure if you can succeed, we can only rely on you. Give it your all. If the Gu formation fails, Grey Knight will kill us all. Don't think you can escape. Zui Yi Hui is extremely ferocious, it is recorded in our bloody history. Our only hope is to defend ourselves using the Super Gu formation. Bada urged. Fang Yuan was silent, rapidly thinking in his mind. Bada and Qi Gui did not know about Fang Yuan's true identity, but the truth was, Fang Yuan's situation was much better than theirs. I have reverse flow protection seal. As long as I use it, I can leave freely. Even if Zui Yi Hui pursues me, I can use the 5 regional walls to escape from him. But if I do that, my true identity will be exposed. Not only will I lose my opportunity here, I will be hunted by Southern Border's Gu immortal world. Ignoring anything else, Wu Yong will become a mortal enemy. I should first give it a try. There is still some time. I do not have to make that final decision yet. Fang Yuan thought of this and quickly walked to Qi Gui. Tell me about the secrets of the Gu formation's second layer. Qi Gui's eyes were seeing darkness, he was pale as paper. His injuries were too severe, he was barely staying awake by using his Gu worms. Firstly, we lack an Earth Path Immortal Gu. This Information Path Mortal Gu has all of the details of this Super Gu formation. After saying that, his eyes closed as he fainted. Damn! Fang Yuan's heart sank. Qi Gui fainting was the icing on the cake. Even though Bada used his methods, it was useless. Fang Yuan almost wanted to use reverse flow protection seal and flee. In his opinion, without Qi Gui's guidance, with the need for an Earth Path Immortal Gu, and also the time needed to deduce the modification, there was basically no hope. But he still looked into the contents of the Information Path Gu worm first. After seeing it, Fang Yuan was staring wide-eyed. He felt extremely glad that he looked at it. 4 elements Gu formation. Out of his expectations, this second layer of the Gu formation was established on the concept of the 4 elements. Earth, water, wind, fire. It was a Gu formation constructed of Earth Path, Water Path, Wind Path, and Fire Path Immortal Gu. Without the Earth Path Gu, the 3 immortal Gu of Fire Path, Water Path, and Wind Path were left. Earlier, Qi Gui was working hard to replenish that Earth Path aspect. Why is it so coincidental? I am not very familiar with other contents of Formation Path, but I had deeply researched the 4 elements concept. Back then, Chu Shicheng's training of his son in the Formation Path Dream Realm was quite traumatic to Fang Yuan. The 4 elements concept was known as an overly strict concept by later generations. Even without the Earth Path Immortal Gu, I can use other Immortal Gu to replace it. Earth Path is not necessary. Dark Path it is. Dark, water, wind, fire, these are also 4 elements. I can definitely construct the Gu formation's second layer. Fang Yuan was feeling firm intuition regarding this. He believed in this. Because he was a Formation Path Grandmaster. My concept will definitely work. Furthermore, with a Dark Path Immortal Gu, we can also defend against Grey Knight more effectively. Fang Yuan suddenly realized that his understanding of Zui Yi Hui's signature killer move was also not small. The reason? Because he had entered a relevant realistic dream realm. This dream realm was too difficult. Fang Yuan died countless times. He barely passed it using a vast number of uses of unraveled dream. Fang Yuan had experienced Grey Night in the dream. Different from now, back then, Sui Hui's signature killer move was different. It was a wide-ranged attack that filled the entire valley. But now, it was a dark gray beam of light. This was a modified version. No matter how many times it was modified, the core was still the same. Grey Night was still Grey Night. Precisely because Fang Yuan had experienced the original Grey Night, he was confident of creating a super Gu formation that could defend against it. However, this means I will need to contribute Dark Limit Immortal Gu. This is my only Dark Path Immortal Gu. Dark Limit Immortal Gu is very useful in concealing my identity. Should I retreat now and leave, or stay here and take a risk, to see if I can find an opportunity to benefit? Fang Yuan hesitated before making up his mind. I want to fix the Gu formation, but I do not trust anyone. Take Qi Gui and Ba Quan Feng and leave me. Block anyone from getting close to me. Ba De knew what was important now. He said nothing, grabbing the two Gu immortals and moving away a distance of a few hundred steps. Fang Yuan breathed in deeply, turning into a divination tortoise. A wisdom path ancient desolate beast, his transformation path Dao marks turned into wisdom path, along with his wisdom path methods, Fang Yuan started to deduce. His progress was rapid. Because he not only had the information on the Gu formation, he also knew about the four elements Gu formation, and he was even familiar with Dark Limit Immortal Gu and Grey Night. Roar! Sui Hui suddenly raised its head, growling loudly. Shadow Sect's members had joyful expressions, quickly retreating and abandoning their enemies. Oh no, Grey Night is coming. Quick, enter the Gu formation. The righteous path Gu immortals did not know about the truth, they thought that this was the strongest defense. Quicker, are you not done yet? Bada could not help but urge, he was the most nervous one. If Fang Yuan did not succeed, he would die. I'm done. Fang Yuan's huge tortoise head let out a breath of air. Joy flashed in his eyes. Dark Limit Immortal Gu flew out along with many mortal Gu. Bada was stunned before panicking, deep fear was concealed in his voice. This is a Dark Path Immortal Gu, this Gu formation needs an Earth Path Immortal Gu. I don't have Earth Path Immortal Gu, I only have Dark Path. Fang Yuan replied unhappily. Bada's eyes turned, he almost wanted to hit Fang Yuan. He screamed, tell me if you do not have Earth Path Immortal Gu, I can lend to you. You know nothing, shut up. Fang Yuan rebuked. You. Bada had lost all hope, he was about to berate Fang Yuan when his eyes suddenly enlarged, like someone had slammed the back of his head. Next, he was stunned to see that the second layer of the Gu formation activated, having an imposing aura that was vast as the sea. He actually succeeded. At once, Bada felt like he had gone to heaven from hell. He was dazed on the spot with his mouth wide open. Xiao Si Lu and the rest arrived, seeing this peculiar scene. Bada lost his composure, he was in a daze, it was quite surprising. Bada, what's wrong? Why are you perspiring so much? Someone coughed and notified of this. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1357, Controlling the Righteous Path. Chapter 1357, Controlling the Righteous Path. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Bada shuddered. When he regained his senses, his face went red as embarrassment flashed on his face for a second. Fang Yuan concentrated on manipulating the second layer of the Gu formation. Before Qi Gui fainted, he had already lent the entire Gu formation to Fang Yuan, he was now the user of the Super Gu formation. Ba Quan Feng's sneak attack, Qi Gui fainting, they all helped Fang Yuan. Very good, now, using the Super Gu formation, I have a huge hold over others in this battle. It was not a waste of Fang Yuan's Dark Limit Immortal Gu. This way, he had enough strength to wait for an opportunity. Earlier, if Fang Yuan used reverse flow protection seal to escape, he would allow Shadow Sect to escape too. But now, he chose to stay and had increased control over the situation. He only had to wait for an opportunity now. Of course, Fang Yuan did not let down his guard. He spoke to these righteous Path Gu immortals solemnly, "Get away from me. If anyone gets close, I will consider them a traitor and expel them from the formation." "What do you mean?" The righteous Path Gu immortals looked at Fang Yuan, who was vigilant. Their expressions changed. At this moment, Bada explained for Fang Yuan, "I agree with Wu Yi-hai, nobody is to get near him." Qi Gui fainted from his injuries. It was because of the attack by traitor Ba Quan Fong. He told the righteous Path Gu immortals all about the incident earlier. The righteous Path Gu immortals were all shocked. They knew now, if Fang Yuan did not salvage the formation earlier, the second layer of the Gu immortal could not be formed. These righteous Path Gu immortals were glad about this, but were also increasingly wary of the Gu immortals around them. Bada looked at Fang Yuan before managing the situation, giving his orders. There were many righteous Path Gu immortals. Bada could not awaken Qi Gui who had fainted, but that did not mean that the others could not. Ba Quan Fong was also interrogated. The other righteous Path Gu immortals rested and healed their injuries in the meantime, preparing for the intense battle ahead. At this time, far away from the Super Gu formation, Zui Yi Hui's aura finally became calm again. Its huge black body was like an unmoving mountain. It slowly raised its head and opened its mouth, breathing in deeply. There were intense currents in the air, countless Gu worms mixed together into a complex aura, spreading outwards with explosive force. Its body began to expand like a balloon. It had an intense aura. When it reached its peak, it opened its mouth, as a dark gray beam of light shot out. The beam of light was incredibly fast. It landed on the second layer of the Gu formation with the speed of lightning. There was no sound or explosion. It was completely silent. But at the second layer of the Gu formation, there was also a grand, bright light. Red representing fire path, green representing wind path, blue representing water path, and black representing dark path, for colors fused together, defending against the gray beam of light. The Gu formation was creaking. The righteous Path Gu immortals were all nervous. If this Super Gu formation could not hold on, they would be meat on the chopping block. They might survive the attack if they were lucky, but the unlucky ones would disintegrate immediately. Many astute people started to observe Fang Yuan's expression. Fang Yuan was the person manipulating the Gu formation. His every action would affect their mood. Fang Yuan's expression was calm all along. Nobody could read anything from him. But his calmness meant confidence and safety. The righteous Path Gu immortals gradually relaxed. A while later, the dark gray beam vanished, while the colorful lights from the Gu formation's second layer also faded. "We blocked it. Ha ha ha. Good job, Lord Wu Yi-hai." The righteous Path Gu immortals cheered, looking at Fang Yuan in a new light. "I was not wrong after all, Wu Yi-hai, you saved us all." Qi Gui woke up and muttered, feeling glad. He was in poor shape now. He still needed Fang Yuan to continue controlling the Super Gu formation. Xiao Si Lu's eyes also turned to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan had saved everyone in the righteous path this time and became a hero. Xiao Si Lu did not have good feelings for Fang Yuan earlier, but now, looking at Fang Yuan who was standing straight, her heart was pounding as she has a wondrous feeling. Immortal Killer moved Grey Knight against the Super Gu formation. It was the contest of spear and shield. Eventually, the latter won and defended against this terrifying attack. As the light faded and dust settled, Zui Yi Hui, who was breathing roughly, looked at the Super Gu formation with wide open eyes. The dream realm was not affected. It was huge, like a giant pot, with the bottom pointed at the sky, covering the vast land. In the second layer of the Gu formation, Fang Yuan, Bada, Xiao Si Lu, and the other righteous Path Gu immortals were protected. This Gu formation had lost its third and fourth layers. It could not conceal the dream realm like before. It could only shield a portion of the dream realm. We did not break through. Ing Wu Xie, He Lu Lan, Bai Ning Bing, and the rest were greatly surprised. This was not what Purple Mountain True Monarch had told them. Not long ago, they had received Purple Mountain True Monarch's transmission, he said that the Gu formation would be destroyed. They had to attack during that opportunity to secure victory. Qi Gui had already lost consciousness. What could be the cause? Far away, at the edge of the dream realm, Purple Mountain True Monarch sighed deeply. This was troublesome. They had lost the greatest opportunity, but he had no choice but to strike regardless. Purple Mountain True Monarch, who concealed his figure, could not be detected by the others. After arriving at the dream realm, he had already prepared for a long time. At this moment, he activated his method. At once, the world changed colors. Rainbow light shot into the sky beyond the clouds. An unparalleled aura, grand and vast like a tsunami, cracked the Gu immortals' mental fortitude, leaving them in a state of shock. What is going on? The Gu immortals on Shadow Sect's side closed their eyes. The Super Gu formation was shaking intensely. The Righteous Path Gu immortals were all flustered. What is going on? What killer move is this? Fang Yuan's face flashed with nervousness as he announced, "This immortal killer move is not targeting us or the Gu formation, it is targeting the dream realm." After an intense eruption, the rainbow lights did not fade away. Instead, cocoons of light were formed. The dream realm is vanishing, condensing into countless cocoons of light. Oh my, what method is this? It is causing such a huge commotion. Normal methods have no effect on the dream realm, except dream path killer moves. So that's it, these demonic path Gu immortals are after the dream realm. The Righteous Path Gu immortals called out. Among them, one looked at Fang Yuan sinisterly. I said that the immortal opportunity business was a bad idea. It allowed those demonic path Gu immortals to think of an immortal killer move to make use of the dream realm. This definitely has huge benefits, otherwise, how could so many Gu immortals disregard all consequences to attack us? These words made most of the Righteous Path Gu immortals' expressions change. Fang Yuan heard it and had no reaction. Bada snorted angrily, looking at the Xia clan Gu immortal as he shouted, "Shut up." At this moment, he was still trying to sow discord with the enemy right in front of them, and most importantly, he was angering the key person, Fang Yuan. This was simply too stupid. Bada was furious. But at the next moment, this Xia clan Gu immortal vanished on the spot, appearing outside the Gu formation. Why did he go out? The Righteous Path Gu immortals were stunned. They asked this. Fang Yuan sneered as he said, "This person has ill intentions, he tried to sow discord, so I sent him outside. After all, trash can be recycled, he can probe out the enemy's ability." "Rubbish, who gave you the authority to do this? You are disregarding our rights. Quick, let our clan's Gu immortal back in. Quick." Fang Yuan smiled coldly as the other Xia clan Gu immortal who was screaming also vanished. At the next moment, he appeared outside the Super Gu formation, in the outside world. Looking at the huge dream realm and the flickering Super Gu formation, he was stunned. Wu Yi Hai. Bada was anxious, almost jumping up. "Are you messing around on purpose?" Fang Yuan looked at him lightly and said, "Make a din and you will leave too." Bada was dumbfounded. The other Righteous Path Gu immortals. Bada's chest was moving up and down from rage, his face was flushed red, but he spoke, "Don't forget, the immortal Gu of all our super clans were used to create this Super Gu formation." He was making a threat. But Fang Yuan chuckled, "Do you think that at this moment, you can still recall your Gu worms? Haven't you noticed that you have already lost your connection to these immortal Gu?" The immortals' expressions changed. Qi Gui said solemnly, "Sigh, everyone, don't bother. This was the Gu formation created by our clan's Lord Qi Chuyu. Earlier, when designing this formation, to guard against traitors and prevent the Gu formation from being destroyed from the inside, the first and second layers can only be controlled by one person, others cannot interfere. Even I cannot control the Gu formation now, unless Wu Yi Hai transfers the ownership back to me again." Saying this, Qi Gui looked at Fang Yuan sincerely and earnestly. "Qi Gui, you are heavily injured, you have contributed too much for us, you should heal yourself now." Fang Yuan smiled coldly, crushing Qi Gui's hopes immediately. Bada was fuming with rage. The immortals were also flustered. In this situation, weren't they at Fang Yuan's mercy? Xiao Si Lu and the others who were close to Wu clan were fine, but in Ba clan, Yao clan, Yang clan, and others, their Gu immortals had conflict with Wu clan, their expressions were very ugly. Chi Chu Yu, this old fool. Some people cursed in their minds. Chi Chu Yu had secretly dealt a blow to these super clans, under the justification of defending this dream realm in Gu formation, to keep it safe. But because of this change of events, Chi clan lost control and an outsider took over as the person in charge. Don't worry, I, Wu Yi-hai, am not a person who acts without reason. In this situation, us righteous path clans need to work together through thick and thin to get through this crisis. My Wu clan is still number one in the righteous path. With such a situation occurring, we will definitely come forward and take on this responsibility. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1358, Reappearance of Pure Dream Reality Seeker. Chapter 1358, Reappearance of Pure Dream Reality Seeker. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. I have good news to share. My Wu clan has an immortal Gu house secretly on the way here, to bring me back to Wu Yi Mountain. It is not far now, it is our closest reinforcement. As long as we work together and cooperate well, we can definitely leave unscathed. We might even do a merit for the righteous path. For everyone living in southern border, we will contribute greatly to this region. Fang Yuan spoke rapidly. Bada's expression turned very ugly. Xiao Si Lu's eyes were shining, looking at Fang Yuan, her gaze did not shift, she was filled with admiration towards him. Qi Gui had once gave Fang Yuan the information path Gu worm and told him all about the super Gu formation. Thus, when Fang Yuan realized he could control this Gu formation by himself, he decided to lead all of the righteous path Gu immortals. Xia clan's 2 Gu immortals were unlucky people that Fang Yuan had used to assert his dominance. After that, he gave great news regarding the immortal Gu house. With both the stick and carrot, he successfully got the righteous path Gu immortals under him, becoming a force that he could manipulate. There were no lack of elites in the righteous path, but Fang Yuan had the initiative, his advantage was too large. Because of this situation, they had no choice but to obey him. Fang Yuan's actions turned the situation around. Right now, even Bada had to listen to him. After successfully controlling these righteous path Gu immortals, Fang Yuan turned his attention towards the outside world. Many cocoons of light had already formed, quietly floating in the sky. The price for creating these light cocoons was the dream realm. Large pieces of the dream realm vanished entirely. The originally round and intact giant dream realm now had holes in it. It was like cheese that was eaten by rats with holes all over. More than 20 cocoons of light had formed, and more of them were gradually condensing. Seeing this, Fang Yuan sighed. Shadow sex methods were truly endless. Indeed worthy of the super force created by a demon venerable which had 100,000 years of accumulation. Crack. At this time, waves of cracking noises could be heard from the first cocoon. Next, cracks appeared on the light cocoon. Bam! The cocoon of light broke as a nude person fell out. Before landing on the ground, Purple Mountain True Monarch, who had waited for a long time, acted rapidly. Large numbers of Gu worms flew out and surrounded the pure dream reality seeker physique body, before entering their immortal aperture. Soon, this person opened their eyes, their entire body was covered in clothing as they flew towards the edge of the dream realm without stopping. This? The other righteous path Gu immortals were stunned, but Fang Yuan's eyes were wide open. This is the pure dream reality seeker physique. Fang Yuan had seen it before, seeing it again, he was still stunned. In the past, Wu Xie had the pure dream reality seeker physique. This immortal body was a man-made extreme physique. Shadow Sex old man Yen Shi had researched it for a long time. How did Purple Mountain True Monarch get a hold of this method? Don't forget, Wu Xie was still alive, and Purple Mountain True Monarch had entered the river of time through great risks, interacting deeply with spectral souls while inside the Red Lotus True Inheritance. Purple Mountain True Monarch had wanted to cooperate with Fang Yuan, but because of his low information path foundation, he rejected it. Thus, even though Purple Mountain True Monarch knew that Fang Yuan had methods to deal with the dream realm, he could not make use of them. He wanted to save Spectral Soul's main body. Other than the Super Gu formation, there was also the huge obstacle, the giant dream realm. Fang Yuan was not helpful, thus, Purple Mountain True Monarch placed his focus on the pure dream reality seeker physique. This way, with the bulk of the dream realms vanishing, he could get to the center of the dream realm and save Spectral Soul. This means, the pure dream reality seeker physique is created like this. Shadow sex methods are truly fearsome. Even though Fang Yuan had fought against Wu Xie back then, he did not know about his origin. After finally seeing it, Fang Yuan shouted loudly, ordering the Righteous Path Gu immortals, "Quick, destroy all these cocoons. We need to kill the one who just left." "What is going on? Wu Yi, what do you know? Tell us." The Righteous Path Gu immortals asked. But at the next moment, they were teleported by Fang Yuan to the outside of the Super Gu formation. The F***CK. Not even saying a word, who does he think we are? Wu Yi, you are using our clan's immortal Gu, don't go overboard. Even Xiao Si Lu was sent out. This southern border fairy was a little dazed, she could not accept it. Xia clan's 2 Gu immortals saw that so many Righteous Path Gu immortals had landed in their plight. They felt extremely satisfied. They shouted loudly to take down Wu Yi. But nobody gave them any attention. In this situation, who would dare to offend Fang Yuan, who controlled the Super Gu formation? Fang Yuan transmitted, "If you do not want to die here, listen to me. These enemies will grow stronger with time, now is the best time to eliminate them." While the others hesitated, Wu Liao had already listened to Fang Yuan and acted. Next, Gu immortals close to Wu clan including Xiao Si Lu also moved. But because Fang Yuan shifted her out along with the others, this woman, who was one of the 3 great fairies of southern border, had an ugly expression and mood. These people acted quickly. Soon, the Righteous Path Gu immortals started to fight. One hand, Fang Yuan controlled the Super Gu formation, he controlled their safety. Secondly, the Righteous Path forces had deep interest in exploring the dream realm. They had desire towards these immortal bodies created from the dream realm. As long as they captured one of them and researched it, their clan's dream path development would rise rapidly. Only Xia clan's 2 Gu immortals were hesitant. But Fang Yuan did not forget them, he transmitted, "As long as you each kill a cocoon, I will spare you and let you return to the Gu formation." Xia clan's Gu immortals were furious, they gritted their teeth, but they had no choice. After looking at each other, they acted according to Fang Yuan's words. Almost all the Righteous Path Gu immortals had moved, killing and destroying the cocoons of light. Only Fang Yuan stayed in the Super Gu formation alone, overseeing the battle from the base. It was truly relaxing. Strive for every second. The pure dream reality seeker physique bodies broke out of the cocoons of light as they flew out. At the same time, when the cocoons were destroyed, the dream realms that had vanished appeared again. Spectral Soul's main body is inside the dream realm. Shadow Sect has planned this well, creating pure dream reality seeker physique bodies to obscure our vision. Among these flying pure dream reality seeker physique bodies, there might be Spectral Soul's remnant soul. Fang Yuan stared as he controlled the Super Gu formation, manipulating the battlefield intently. This Super Gu formation was built around the giant dream realm originally. Even though only the second layer of the Gu formation was active now, Fang Yuan could still control half of the battlefield. He could teleport Gu immortals nearby. Not only did the Righteous Path Gu immortals act, Fang Yuan also manipulated the Gu formation, using its power to destroy the cocoons. Unfortunately, this Super Gu formation was built on the basis of defense. It was pitifully weak in attack, far weaker than Fang Yuan's own attacks. Kill! At this moment, shouting could be heard. With Fairy Miao Yin, He Lu Lan, and Bai Ning Bing leading, Shadow Sect's Gu immortals had arrived. This wave of Gu immortals were far less in numbers, but in this complex battle situation, the disadvantage in numbers was easy to cover. The original giant dream realm was intact, resembling a turned-over pot covering the ground. Next, because of the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies forming, large pieces of the dream realm went missing. Some cocoons of light were destroyed by righteous path Gu immortals, and the dream realm appeared again, but it was much smaller than before. This caused the dream realm to not be as complete as before. There was a difference. Some of the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies were killed and created a huge dream realm on the spot. Because the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies had flown away and were not at the original spots, this caused patches of dream realms to be formed outside of the original dream realm. Don't forget, this giant dream realm itself had movement. Thus, large patches of dream realms were all over the place, some overlapped while some were isolated, and some were only a thin line away from being connected. They were in the sky and on the ground. The terrain was truly very complicated. When fighting here, Gu immortals had to be very wary. They had to guard against the dream realms and could not fall into dreams. Creating so many pure dream reality seeker physique bodies, it must be Purple Mountain True Monarch. But where is he? Fong Yuan looked around using the Super Gu formation, but he could not find Purple Mountain True Monarch. Rumble. With an intense sound, the Super Gu formation burst out with power, as a shadow flew towards a pure dream reality seeker physique body that had just broken out of its cocoon, crashing onto it like a mountain. Suppressed. Without Gu worms to help them, the pure dream reality seeker physique body was easily suppressed, before the Super Gu formation teleported them to Fong Yuan. The pure dream reality seeker physique body stared at Fong Yuan fiercely, tied by black chains and unable to move. Fong Yuan sized it up, his eyes shined brightly. Interesting, if I can capture a few more, I might be able to deduce this method of shadow sect and create my own pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. This is the extreme physique of Dream Path. Even though it has a short lifespan, it might be able to help me resolve huge issues in critical moments. Thinking of this, Fong Yuan searched for purple while using the Super Gu formation to capture newly formed pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. The second layer's coverage was less than half of the dream realm, while the domain he controlled was even smaller. But cocoons of light continued to form. As Fong Yuan struck multiple times, he actually captured close to 10 pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. He soon had a shocking discovery: these pure dream reality seeker physique bodies did not have rising cultivation levels as time passed. Among them, some had rank 6 immortal bodies while others were mortals. Only a very small number had rank 7 cultivation level. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1359, Heavenly Court's Interference. Chapter 1359, Heavenly Court's Interference. Translator: Atlas Studios. Editor: Atlas Studios. Fong Yuan also found something interesting. The time that these pure dream reality seeker physique bodies could live was inversely correlated to their cultivation level. The higher their cultivation level, the shorter the duration they could live. In contrast, those Gu Master pure dream reality seeker physique bodies could live for 2 to 3 years. They were good research material for Fong Yuan. He had ample time to do so. Earlier, I was wondering why Shadow Sect did not use the method to mass-produce pure dream reality seeker physique bodies during the Battle of Tian Mountain if possible. Now it seems, the pure dream reality seeker physique that created Ing Wuxia was not this simple. In order to save their main body, Shadow Sect had to use this method to create many pure dream reality seeker physique bodies, to disperse and get rid of the dream realms. They have great determination. Fong Yuan sighed as he realized Shadow Sect's firm and determined attitude. Not only did Fong Yuan capture some pure dream reality seeker physique bodies, the other righteous path Gu immortals were not stupid. They also had some captives. These pure dream reality seeker physique bodies were the dream path fruits of Shadow Sect's research. Once anyone successfully researched on them, they would have an explosive breakthrough in the exploration of dream realms. Shadow Sect did this without hesitation in order to save Spectral Soul's main body. The scene was very chaotic. Purple Mountain True Monarch was not discovered. He was still continuing to create more pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. More and more cocoons of light were starting to appear in the dream realm area. Pieces of dream realms were cluttered together in a messy fashion, creating a complex terrain. Both the righteous path and demonic path were surrounding the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies, engaging in fierce battles. Even though Fang Yuan's side was doing their best to obstruct them, because the battlefield was too chaotic, some pure dream reality seeker physique bodies managed to leave the battlefield amidst the confusion. Damn it! Spectral Soul's main body might be hiding among these bodies. Fang Yuan observed and was about to attack from afar, when suddenly, light that was sharp as a needle descended from the sky. Instantly, the pure dream reality seeker physique body's skull was pierced. This white light that was extremely thin was very sharp. It moved down from the skull of the pure dream reality seeker physique body and penetrated his entire body. It appeared instantly and vanished just as quickly. The pure dream reality seeker physique body that was hit was rank 6. He instantly felt that his body had no strength, he was extremely weak. He showed suspicion on his face as he raised his hand to touch the top of his head. Next, he placed his hand in front of him and saw that there was blood mixed with brain matter. His expression changed abruptly, there was disbelief and fear. Next, his vision turned dark as he lost his life. His corpse fell onto the ground from the sky like a rag doll. Instantly, blood sprayed out, bones were broken, it was almost a pile of mush, the body was completely dead. Who is it? Fang Yuan saw this and his pupils shrunk. He was the person in charge of the situation, among the righteous path, he was the first to observe this. Meanwhile, on the demonic path side, Purple Mountain True Monarch was creating cocoons of light while managing the situation. Seeing this, he was not confused, he frowned deeply. Heavenly Court finally acted. He had expected this, he had some arrangements in White Heaven. Heaven Overseeing Tower was obstructed for a while. But unfortunately, Fang Yuan salvaged the situation. Purple Mountain True Monarch's plan was greatly disrupted. The Super Gu formation and the Righteous Path Gu Immortals greatly hindered Purple Mountain True Monarch's plan to saving his main body. The best timing was lost. Heaven Overseeing Tower broke free of the obstruction and finally acted, joining this huge battle. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. After several soft sounds, several small traces of white light shot out and easily killed all of the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies who tried to leave the battlefield. Next, a grand immortal Gu house appeared from the sky with shining light, as if a deity had descended upon the battlefield. Such an incredible sight attracted the attention of many Gu immortals, they quickly looked up at the sky. A few of them were dazed, but most Gu immortals instantly recognized Heaven Overseeing Tower. Heavenly Court's Heaven Overseeing Tower, it was too famous. Heavenly Court. Almost all the Gu immortals were intensely shocked. Heavenly Court's imposing entrance made this chaotic battle go into even more uncertainty. At the top of Heaven Overseeing Tower, Duke Long crossed his hand and stood upright like a tower, observing the entire battlefield. Spectral Soul is too devious, we cannot let a single pure dream reality seeker physique body off, they need to die. Of course, these pure dream reality seeker physique bodies could just be distractions, Spectral Soul might be lurking in other Gu immortals' bodies to escape. Thus, all of the Gu immortals present need to be killed too, it is better to be safe than sorry. Yes. Behind Duke Long, Fairy Ziwei and the Gu immortals she led responded in unison. Duke Long pondered before saying, we will kill Shadow Sect before eliminating the righteous path. But if anyone tries to leave the battlefield, no matter who, we will exterminate them. Heaven Overseeing Tower pressed down on the battlefield like an imposing mountain with vast power. The chaotic battlefield froze. Heaven Overseeing Tower had the greatest battle strength, its movement decided the flow of this battle. The righteous path Gu immortals' hearts were pounding. Heavenly Court, these were Central Continent Gu immortals, were they reinforcements? Shadow Sect's side fell into panic. Evidently, Heavenly Court and Shadow Sect were enemies. Fang Yuan's expression was grim, looking at rank 9 immortal Gu House Heaven Overseeing Tower, he frowned deeply. He had somewhat expected this to happen. Heavenly Court appeared again. The situation is horrible. They actually rebuilt Heaven Overseeing Tower in such a short time. I wonder how many rank 8 Gu immortals came this time. Heaven Overseeing Tower's appearance was a huge blow to Fang Yuan's plans. But thankfully, Fang Yuan was inside the Super Gu formation. It could defend against Heaven Overseeing Tower's might. Fang Yuan had the experience of battling against Heaven Overseeing Tower. Even if the strongest attack from Fate Gu was used, Fang Yuan estimated that this Super Gu formation could endure one attack. Fang Yuan decided to observe for now, but Purple Mountain True Monarch could not do nothing. He was a rank 8 Wisdom Path Gu immortal. How could he not have backup plans? Purple Mountain True Monarch transmitted, Yi Hui, according to our agreement, your enemy is here, what are you waiting for? They are from Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court. Legendary immemorial desolate beast Yi Hui heard this as its body shuddered, intense rage and hatred could be seen in its eyes. This rage and hatred was embedded into its soul, even after 1,000,000 years, it still felt this deeply. Heavenly Court. Yi Hui roared, the sound waves burst out and swept an immense surrounding area. Boom! At the next moment, vast darkness burst out from Yi Hui's body. Its body was huge to begin with, now, under the cover of the dark mist, it became increasingly terrifying. Next, its legs bent as its body arched, it bared its teeth and stomped the ground. Bam! There was an intense sound, the ground shook harshly. A huge pit was created under Yi Hui, while it shot out like an arrow, through the sky, towards Heaven Overseeing Tower. Heaven Overseeing Tower burst out with power, but Yi Hui was covered in dark mist. It was evidently an immortal killer move, allowing it to fly and defend itself. Yi Hui moved like a bamboo spear or a huge meteorite. In a few breaths of time, it traveled 100 li, arriving at Heaven Overseeing Tower. Humph! Insolent fool! Duke Long snorted in disdain, his majestic body shook as his thoughts collided. Heaven Overseeing Tower burst out with an intense white light. At once, the world turned white. Heaven Overseeing Tower's strongest method, Fate Vanquish. Rank 9 Immortal Gu Fate's power was unrivaled. There was no way of dodging. As long as one was not rank 9, no matter how powerful, they would lose to this move. Light was everywhere. White light. Filling the world from all directions. The Gu immortals exposed to the light, be it righteous path or demonic path, coughed out blood. They were instantly heavily injured, most fainted on the spot. At once, half the battlefield was cleared. There were some Gu immortals who were shielded by the dream realm, they were not exposed to the light and were saved. With a loud sound, even Yi Hui could not block the attack of fate, it crashed to the ground. It coughed out blood, but soon, it crawled up and opened its mouth, roaring at Heaven Overseeing Tower. In Heaven Overseeing Tower, the central continent Gu immortals all had shocked expressions. Even Duke Long was surprised. Yi Hui did not die from Fate Vanquish, that was normal. It was far sturdier than normal immortal Gu houses, and had incredible regenerative properties. Yi Hui was the problem of Southern Border for ages. Southern Border's Gu immortal world had mobilized immortal Gu houses to kill it, but could not, they only defeated it. But Yi Hui's injury was far less severe than Duke Long's expectations. Gu immortals could cultivate, so could Yi Hui. After all these years, Yi Hui had been getting stronger. Moreover, it was helped by Shadow Sect this time. Purple Mountain True Monarch purposely lent it a lot of immortal Gu and large numbers of immortal killer moves. Yi Hui was fully armed. Yi Hui stood up again, half of its injuries had healed. This was a terrifying recovery speed. It pounced at Heaven Overseeing Tower again fearlessly. A cold light shined in Duke Long's eyes, he used Fate Vanquish again. Yi Hui was hit and landed on the ground again, but soon, it stood up. Even though it was injured again, it was full of vitality. Central Continent's Gu immortals were intensely shocked. This is the battle strength of a legendary immemorial desolate beast. It is truly stunning. It is a bit troublesome. Fairy Ziwei had a grim expression. Zui Hui's battle strength was out of her imagination. Even though Heaven Overseeing Tower had Fate Vanquish, it could not be used consecutively. After all, rank 9 Immortal Gu Fate still had injuries on it. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1360, Fang Yuan's Desperate Situation. Chapter 1360, Fang Yuan's Desperate Situation. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Roar. Zui Hui growled. This time, it flew to the sky, and stayed in midair to attack Heaven Overseeing Tower. Duke Long sneered, activating Heaven Overseeing Tower. Turn Phantom. Zui Hui missed its target. The entirety of Heaven Overseeing Tower, including the Gu Immortals inside, turned Phantom. Normal methods could not hit them at all. This is on purpose. To lure me to attack. Purple Mountain True Monarch, who was concealed, saw this as bright light flashed in his eyes. Shadow Sect had methods to counter the Phantom form. But Purple Mountain True Monarch did not act against the Phantom Heaven Overseeing Tower. Because he was not Spectral Soul's main body, he did not have all the Immortal Gu needed to counter the Phantom form. Even if he used them, against Heaven Overseeing Tower, it was too inefficient. He did not act. Duke Long thought to himself. In the past, during the Battle of Tian Mountain, Spectral Soul had sealed the Phantom Heaven Overseeing Tower and prevented it from returning to solid. Duke Long had specially prepared well against this killer move, but Purple Mountain True Monarch was really patient. He did not do anything. Duke Long controlled the Phantom Heaven Overseeing Tower and tried to get closer to the Dream Realm. Once the huge Heaven Overseeing Tower entered the Dream Realm, it started to fade from its phantom form. Some Gu worms by the fringe were devoured by the Dream Realm. Phantom methods are useless too. Duke Long's heart shook, bringing Heaven Overseeing Tower away from the Dream Realm. This was the first time Duke Long was seeing an actual Dream Realm. This was something related to Great Dream Immortal Venerable. Duke Long was quite surprised. Even though Heaven Overseeing Tower was in phantom form, the Dream Realm still devoured a corner of it. The Central Continent Gu Immortals in Heaven Overseeing Tower were quickly trying to repair it. Without any Dream Path methods, even Heaven Overseeing Tower will get lost inside the Dream Realm. Duke Long concluded. One skill to dominate the world. Back then, Xianxia with pure Dream Reality Seeker physique could use Lead Soul into Dream Killer move and directly make Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord go to sleep. Evidently, even the powerful rank 9 Immortal Gu House could not defend against the might of Dream Path. Unless it was an Immortal Gu House with Dream Path Immortal Gu, normal Immortal Gu houses would get lost in the Dream Realm without resistance. This means, this battlefield is not good for Heaven Overseeing Tower to fight. Heaven Overseeing Tower is too big, it is far less agile than Gu Immortals fighting alone. Duke Long looked at the growling Zui Hui as light flashed in his eyes. At this moment, Heaven Overseeing Tower returned to solid form as Zui Hui chased after it. Heaven Overseeing Tower turned and accelerated, rushing towards a Dream Realm. Zui Hui flew in the sky, moving even more quickly. Its huge body was like a black cloud. Winds were wild as it moved towards Heaven Overseeing Tower. Oh no! Purple Mountain True Monarch saw this and quickly stopped it. A mystical light flew out and landed on Heaven Overseeing Tower. Heaven Overseeing Tower's speed slowed, it became illusory as ripples appeared, like it was the surface of water. Fake. Zui Hui quickly stopped. It almost went into the Dream Realm. The Dream Realm was incredibly dangerous to Zui Hui as well. Behind it, the real Heaven Overseeing Tower appeared. He. Duke Long stood at the top of the tower, his dragon eyes looking coldly at a certain place. Purple Mountain True Monarch sighed, knowing that this was a trap. Duke Long was seemingly trying to trap Zui Hui, but the truth was, he wanted to find out Purple Mountain True Monarch's location. But even if Purple Mountain True Monarch knew of Duke Long's plans, he had no choice but to act. Because Sui Yi Hui was too valuable of a fighting force, it could not be lost. Shadow Sect needed it to defend against Heaven Overseeing Tower. Lingering split soul of spectral soul, I will kill him. Fairy Ziwei, go deal with that Super Gu formation and kill Fang Yuan. The others will control Heaven Overseeing Tower and leave this place. Sui Yi Hui will surely follow. I do not need success, I just do not want failure. Duke Long ordered, as everyone responded. With the roar of a dragon, Duke Long turned into a mystical light and charged at Purple Mountain True Monarch. Meanwhile, Fairy Ziwei charged at the Super Gu formation. Heaven Overseeing Tower brought the Central Continent Gu Immortals and flew into the sky, leaving the battlefield. Sui Yi Hui looked at Duke Long, Fairy Ziwei, and finally, Heaven Overseeing Tower. It knew that it was highly restricted in this battlefield because of its size, and because it liked to move around fast. Meanwhile, Heaven Overseeing Tower had an aura that it detested, and was the symbol of Heaven Overseeing Tower. It had a deep desire to destroy this tower. Duke Long flew in the sky, turning into a phantom shadow as he appeared before Purple Mountain True Monarch instantly. He had a tall and majestic body, the dragon horn on his head was sharp and imposing, his dragon pupils revealed dominance and indifference. Boom boom boom. Purple Mountain True Monarch fought Duke Long. A few breaths later, Purple Mountain True Monarch could not fight on par with him, he had to run away. You will die today. Duke Long roared, chasing relentlessly. In the Super Gu formation, Fang Yuan was breaking out in cold sweat. He realized that he had fallen into a trap. Heaven's will. It was actually hiding in, no, rather than that. Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk to pin size, sweat poured down his face. At this moment, Fairy Ziwei had already arrived in front of the Super Gu formation. Fang Yuan calmed himself down, activating the Super Gu formation and defending against this enemy. This Gu formation is not bad. Fairy Ziwei's eyes shined with purple light, she observed the Super Gu formation and nodded. It is a pity, there is a flaw, these Gu worms are of different sources, the user of the Gu formation is borrowing other people's immortal Gu, but this can be used by me. As she said that, she raised her right hand, which was holding an immortal Gu house. Star Constellation Chessboard. This immortal Gu house was personally created by Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, it was possibly the smallest immortal Gu house in the world. When the chessboard was activated, it changed into crystal starlight that filled the sky. Starlight moved around like fireflies, surrounding Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei's human body was assimilated by this starlight, turning into starlight and joining them. The starlight expanded slightly, pouncing at the Super Gu formation. Fang Yuan was already vigilantly waiting, he activated the Gu formation and attacked the starlight. But the starlight completely ignored the Gu formation's attack, it started to infiltrate the Super Gu formation. Originally, this Super Gu formation was shining in 4 profound colors of red, green, blue, and black. But now, with the invasion of the starlight, these 4 lights weakened as starlight mixed in. Fang Yuan felt a sense of sluggishness from the Super Gu formation. Fang Yuan, you were an otherworldly demon chosen by Heaven's will and tasked to save the people of this world. Even though you destroyed Shadow Sect's heaven-defying plan, you took a wrong step and betrayed the righteous path, entering the demonic path and becoming enemies with the world. If you admit your mistake now and surrender, I will leave you with a complete corpse, I will make a biography for you after death so that your name will go down in history as a lesson for the future. At this time, Fairy Ziwei's voice came from the Super Gu formation. Fang Yuan laughed as he said, this is truly an incredible scheme by Heaven's will. As he said that, he tried to activate the Super Gu formation. The Gu formation was still under his control, but it was getting incredibly hard to use, some mortal Gu by the fringe were vanishing from Fang Yuan's control. Evidently, Fairy Ziwei was fighting with him over the control of this Super Gu formation. Stubborn fool. Fairy Ziwei had a cold voice, seeing Fang Yuan struggle, she put in more effort. The starlight shining in the Super Gu formation became brighter. Heavenly Court knows my identity, this proves my conjecture. I cannot take back Dark Limit Immortal Gu anymore. As time passes, the Super Gu formation will go under Heavenly Court's control. What do I do? Do I discard the Super Gu formation and activate Reverse Flow Protection Seal to escape? No. Heavenly Court has fought with me before, they definitely know about Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Since they want to eliminate both me and Shadow Sect, how could they not consider the element of Reverse Flow Protection Seal? Heavenly Court wants to see me rely solely on this move. If my killer move is broken, I will face a backlash, I will lose all my battle strength and even die immediately. What should I do? Thoughts moved in Fang Yuan's mind like a huge storm was brewing. It was a desperate situation. Fang Yuan thought of how he could leave the battlefield. There was no way. He could not otherwise escape. His only hope was Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Should I bet that Heavenly Court has no method against Reverse Flow Protection Seal? Fang Yuan had a bitter expression. He knew that the chances were slim in this regard. As for the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle, Fang Yuan did not have heavenly crystals, the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle could not become an immemorial desolate beast. Even if he had a lot of heavenly crystals, an immemorial desolate beast upper extreme Heavenly Eagle may not be under his control. The upper extreme Heavenly Eagle was prideful and only submitted to strong experts, there was a huge chance of betrayal. Just that slight relationship it had with Fang Yuan was fragile and unreliable. There are two ways of stalling. Fang Yuan thought of two methods. The first was to bring out Reverse Flow River and placed himself inside like a fortress. The second was to put himself in his immortal aperture, placing in southern border and closing his immortal aperture's entrance shut. But both methods only stalled for time, they could not change the situation. If Fang Yuan used these methods, he would be giving up the initiative. This was very dangerous. The only hope in these two methods letting Fang Yuan escape was Southern Border's righteous path reinforcements. If Southern Border's Gu immortals could repel Heavenly Court, Fang Yuan might be able to escape. But Heavenly Court was not stupid or weak. The overall strength of Southern Border's righteous path was definitely stronger than the group from Central Continent that was here. But whether the reinforcements could handle Heaven Overseeing Tower and Heavenly Court's Gu immortals, that was uncertain. Even if they won and Heavenly Court was chased away, could Fang Yuan continue to be Wu Yi Hai? How could that be possible? Since Heavenly Court knew his identity, they just needed a few words to get Southern Border to turn on Fang Yuan. Wu Yi Hai's identity could not last if the entire Southern Border righteous path was investigating it. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in the report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.